Hey everybody, it's Amy Graham, the Badass Valkyrie, and today I wanted to take you through a new, well, not new. This is my Chic Sparrow Dr. Jones, my repurposed Dr. Jones. I have used this in the past, but I kind of having to do with my Aura ring, which is going great, and I will have an update for you guys within a week or two. I have realized that I need to have a place that I can track my health, my husband's health, even my pet's health, and have it be available to my husband in case anything ever happened to me. He wouldn't know things that I've done or had done or all of that before he met me. And so it's kind of a project that has kind of taken a life of its own. I originally was going to do something with this, with the Jibun Techo life book. I was going to go through this and just start putting down major things that happened in my life. And then I was like, because I was going to actually use the B6 Slim that I had as my the one that I just like scribbled everything down in, and then make this one my life book and have this be the start of documenting my life backwards and being the start of a book possibly. However, that has kind of changed. I mean, not that I don't want to do a book about myself, about my journey from, being a 450 pound or 450 plus pound woman to where I am now, having been an extreme athlete and a fighter and all of that. But what I found more pressing was my health. I have been focusing on my health a lot, and I'm in very good health, extremely good health actually, according to my doctors. And but like I was at my doctor's office a couple of weeks back, and he was like, when again did you have your carpal tunnel surgery? And I'm like, I cannot remember. And so I was like, I pulled out some old documented stuff and old medical records and stuff, and I'm like, it should be easier than this to figure out when the hell I had freaking carpal tunnel surgery. And you can tell on my hands, he was just wondering when that occurred, because he's like, those are some heinous scars. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, that must have been early in the adoption of getting carpal tunnel. I'm like, it was. I was 27, I believe. But just the rigmarole that I had to actually go through to figure this out, I was just like, okay, I have another plan. So I got out my life book, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to start writing down. I'll start, because I've been with the University of Utah for over 12 years. And in that system, they have an online system through my chart and all of that kind of thing, that documents all of my doctor's appointments and all of that kind of thing. And so I have at least the last 12 years of my full medical history. And then I have all my bills and everything like that from the previous job that I worked for over 10 years. And Greg still works there. And so I'm like, okay, let's just start putting down what I at least know and what I can and get offline. And then I can go from there. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And I had originally had this is from aorjournals.com, and this is a doctor's appointment notebook, and it just lists the name of the person, the appointment date, the address, the contact info, doctor, dentist, other, reason for the visit, symptoms, questions, answers, tests, test results, diagnosis, injections, medications prescribed, medication schedule, referral to, when, contact next appointment. And so it's a whole book of just that, just your doctor's appointments. And I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to get several of these inserts. And then I started going through my online stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be way more elaborate than I need. But I do want to keep doing this for future reference. And then I thought, but I'm not going to have all of this information from my old doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And so I thought, I'll just use, because this is my Dr. Jones, as I said, from Chic Sparrow. And it's a B6 Slim, and I don't use B6 Slim anymore. I used it for a little while. It was just not my size, and I love this notebook, but it doesn't have envelopes. It doesn't have pockets on the inside. And so I just stuck in some of the B6 Slim inserts that I had. And I'm like, okay, I have these 2 grid books from Paper Penguin Co. And they're just grid paper. I'm like, I can do the orange one for me, and I can do the blue one for Greg, and then I can just go through and write down all our doctor's appointments. And start going backwards. And then I'm like, trying to figure out how I was going to do all of that. And then I thought I could just do like a page a year. And then I'm like, I wonder if there's other things out there that I can use. And then I'm like, oh, the life book. And I found my B6 Slim life book and started looking at it. And this one's a little bit easier to show because this is the A5 Slim. And I was like, oh, wait, this documents from birth, age 00, to age, where is it? To age, oh, I was on it, 99. So, now it has space here for my news, and I don't know if you guys can see it there. It's got a line for each of the months, and then you have family news and world news. Well, what I'm going to do is, starting at 52, which I was like looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, because like 52, I mean, all of the numbers, they're listed, like in 2016, I was 50, 2017, 51, 2018, 52, 2019, this year I'll turn 53. And I'm like, oh, how convenient. It's right next to 12, which is December 13th is my birthday. I was like, oh, the book was made for me. Yay. So I'm like, I can start with this year, and any major surgeries or illnesses or anything, I can put that in the month, and I can put surgeries, illnesses, doctor's appointments. It doesn't have to be family news or world news. I'm like, it's pretty much Greg and I'm like, I really don't need any of that, where I can make these what I need them to be for me. And so, as far as I feel right now, it's going to be surgeries, illnesses, then injuries, or like allergy issues or something like that, for me. And I'm just going to start with this year and then just work my way back till birth as far as I can get. And then, I mean, at some point I'm going to have to start asking my mom, hey, when did I get my measles or whatever? I mean, I literally had to 2 years ago go get my measles shots and all of those updated. And I'm like, I should document that, because the reason I had to go do that is because I don't have any of my documentation prior. So I'm like, I should document that now, knowing that I am actually safe from all the measles and all of that stuff. That's, all of the horrible outbreaks of illness that used to be, eradicated. So that's what I'm going to use the life book for. And so it kind of flipped. So I'm using the A6 or the A5 Slim as my just jot everything down. And I will see how it works in here. And then I will, once I have it all in here for me, then I will transfer that into the B6 Slim for me. And then I have a new one of these coming from Jet Pens, because you can order these individually, for Greg. So then, and this insert was just an extra insert that I had that was just like all these different things, like personal enrichment journal. And I just had that in there because it was a B6. But I'm going to put a second life book in. So one for me, one for Greg. And then the blue blank pages will be for Greg for any notes or anything like that. And this is where I will put any major histories, or, you know, like we were married on this date. Greg was born this date. He was adopted this date. All of that kind of thing. I was adopted 3 months after my birth because I was born with ear infections. And so at the time, back in 1966, they would not adopt you out until you were in good health, if there was just something minor wrong. So I was in foster care for the first 3 months of my life. So just stuff like that. The Greg really, you know, if something wrong went wrong with me and I became incapacitated, there's no way he would remember that stuff. He'd just be like, I think she's 53. You know, I'm like, I would be lucky if he actually had my birthday. He has absolutely no idea what medications I'm taking, what supplements I'm taking, none of that, because I do all of that for us. So I will also put in all the medications we're currently taking and when that changes. So in the front of this book, I will have I'll have an index on the first page, but then I will list my current medications, and I will have, you know, I'll save a couple of those pages in here. And so that I'll have his current medication and my current medication, all of that just to have. And then go through and I will fill this out, you know, and I will still do this so that for doctor's appointments and all of that moving forward, I have that. I mean, I have it up until, I don't need to show you guys all my stuff, but well, this was I filled this out in 2018, but I have all the records. So I'm going to go in and backfill this for 2019 so that I have all of that, because I have all of those detailed records for both of us. But this was appointments and such for me and for Greg. And so I will continue to do that for this particular insert. And then however far I get in this, then I'll see if I need to order a new one. When I do order a new one, I will probably order one for me and one for Greg, just to have that. But otherwise, these 2 notebooks here, and then each one of us will have a life book. And again, I will write down surgeries and injuries and all of that kind of thing in here. But I was like, I really need to do that. And I thought, oh, maybe I should get a new Chic Sparrow because I need something new. And I had thought about getting like the Stology and just writing everything handwritten in a Stology, one for Greg, one for me. And then, you know, I would use the A6s that I have, or, you know, a whole new reason to get another A6 Chic Sparrow. But then I was like, I was looking for something else and I saw the Dr. Jones and I'm like, oh, Dr. Jones, it makes perfect sense. This is our doctor book. And I get to use my Dr. Jones. And I already have all this crap in B6 Slim, so why not use it? So it was kind of kismet to do this. And it is unique enough that Greg would be able to pick this out and off of my shelf and know, oh yeah, it's that brown one with the weird pocket on the front. Because this is very different than anything that I have. So that is what I'm going to be working on in my downtime this weekend, this long holiday weekend I have. I got off work a little bit early today and ran some errands. And so over Memorial Day, I'm going to just try to start doing everything that I can. I went in and I started putting in the years. And it's very funny because I'm like, you never really think about the year you're born as 00. And I'm like, I wonder how I do that. And then I'm like, oh, I guess it would just be the year I was born, because you don't come out of the womb at 1. And so I'm like, oh, so I was born in 66. Here is a little piece of advice. When you are going through this, it is very easy to get off track. So pay attention. So let's see, not that one, not that one, not that one. Here it is. I had literally, I did 2026, so my 60 through 64, 2026 through 2030, I wrote it twice. And I did not notice that until I had gotten to 80, 85, 84. Nope. I'm sorry, 89. So I'm like, oh. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, I had to go back in and wipe this out. So for the future pages, I was like, okay, let me make sure. All right, 2045, 2046, 2047, 2048, 2049, 2050. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go double check and make sure that is correct. Because I didn't realize it until I was like here, and I thought, I should go back and just double check. Let me just double check that I have not missed any. Sure enough, I'd written one twice. So as you're going forward, try not to have any other distractions and pay attention to what you're doing. I'm like, oh. So I was like, thankfully, I do not have to buy 2 of the B6 Slims because I have not messed up with that one. And so this one I'm fine making mistakes on and whiting out and all of that because I'm like, it's kind of this is the write everything down, I don't give a shit how it looks kind of thing. But that's what most of this book is. For those of you who don't know what the life book is, it comes with your Jibun Techo if you get the 3 book set. So you get the yearly planner, and so this was my 2019. I got the A5 Slim version. So you got the planner for the whole year. You got an idea book which is just blank pages, and then you got the life book, and they all fit together in the cover for the Jibun Techo. But I'm like, when you look at the life book, it's kind of like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to put these to the side. And I'd done the same thing with the B6 Slim because I'm like, I do not want to start recording all of that crap yet. So most of this is the yearly pages. So you go from, like I said, birth to age 99. And it was funny because I was like, well, I want to go past 100, yet it doesn't. So then I was like, well, I guess, if I do make it past 100 and books and paper are still a thing, which, I hope they are, then I can always go 00 and start there with 2066. So I will be 100. So I'll just have to get a new book in 2066. But all of this is your age thing, 0 through 99. Then you have your family tree, and you can start putting that in, which I plan on doing as much as I know, even though I'm adopted. And then on your mother's side and on your father's side, I guess. So you have the 2 different family trees there. Then your emergency contact list there, which I'm like, your password hint, which I will never use. Your financial management. Eventually, I probably will use this just so Greg knows, all of my insurance and all that kind of stuff. Although I would probably put that in a separate book and put it in a safe somewhere. And then this does have actually a medical record. And over here's where I thought that I could do a quick reference of any major surgeries or anything like that. Just so I'm like, what year did I have carpal tunnel surgery? There. I don't know how that's going to break down. So we'll see what happens. But, and then in the front of the book, you have a 100 wishes list, or your life dream. And there's several spaces for that. Then your 100 wishes list. And so your major, and what I'm probably going to do is put, a bucket list on in this thing. Who knows? My personal mottos, which can change from various reasons, or you can just use this for notes, whatever. Your life plan. And so, like, if I wanted, since I don't read Japanese, if I wanted to, like, plan on starting my retirement in, where is it? At 65, it would be 2031. So 2031, I'd start our retirement plan and just go through there and just, work, business, whatever I wanted to put in there. There are breakdowns of what these are on JetPen's website, so they can break it down and tell you how to use all of these, or you can just make it up on your own. But then you have your anniversaries and birthdays, and so I've gone through and all my family's birthdays and pet birthdays and all that kind of thing that I want to keep track of. Like my birthday is December 13th, 1966. November 29, 1995 is when I met Greg for the first time. What do I have in here? My anniversary's in there, all kinds of different things. And then you have a Japan travel map. So if you travel to Japan, you can put different notes there. And then a world travel map. And what I'm going to do is go through and put all the different countries that I've been to and when, just in case I ever need that information. So that I have it. Like I traveled to Spain twice. I've traveled to Poland. I've been to Prague. All of these different places. And Greg would be very hard pressed to off the top of his head go, she was in Spain, I don't know when, but she went there. And then another place, Czechoslovakia, I don't know. So I wanted to just have it all in here so that I have it for Greg, all of that. So Greg will have a life book, I will have a life book, and we'll each have a blank notebook, and then we'll have all of that. And then I will also do a notebook. I've seen several like on Etsy and different places. And I know that even Hobonichi actually has a pet records book. And so I want to get a book that I can put all of Saki's records in, all of Heimdall's and all of Tyr's records in. So that I have all of the family's health in one notebook. So that is my little pet project. There is no way on God's green earth that I'm going to get all of it done this month or this weekend, but it's something that I'm going to be working on throughout the rest of the year so that I have it. And it's mostly going to be backdating old records and going through old papers and stuff. But also I figure once I get all of that information and there's a bunch of paperwork that I don't need to keep anymore. And once I actually have record of it, I can toss it. So, and I'll have duplicate records of it because I'll have it in this once I've written it down and then put it in here. So, and then once I also do that and get all of this all handwritten out the way I want it done, and then I'll put it in a digital record as well. So I just figure, we're not getting any younger, and it is probably our best bet to have something that has all of our medical histories in there in a place that we can look at. And as I said, it will help me document different things and different points in my life when I do decide to go ahead and write a book. So that is on the horizon. I don't know when. It's more of a personal project for me. Eventually, it's something that I've thought about off and on about my journey through this whole thing. And it's something that many people have said that I should do. And, until I start it, I don't know what I don't know about any of this. So why not? I've got other books that are about half done. But I keep coming back to this. And it feels like to me that in order for me to get all of the fiction and everything out of me, I need to just get this one thing finished and get it out. And this is a way to help me do that. And so it's a beginning step, and it will tell me, is this something that I want to pursue or not? So just getting all of my details and facts and medical history down somewhere will make me feel a little bit more at ease. So that's what I'm doing with my Dr. Jones and my life books from my Jibun Techos. And as I said, you can find those on JetPens, on Amazon, all of that. And it's just a good thing to have. And if you find yourself having traveler's notebooks that you're like, what could I do with that? why not write down your medical history and try to figure out, if when you've had major surgeries, or just think about, I can't even talk. I always, go back to watching Sarah Martinez, and she, documents certain things for her children and giving so that she can hand her kids these stacks of Hobonichi weeks from every year of their life when they were with her. And I'm like, that would be so cool. I wish I had something like that for me as I was growing up. But, I've got diaries here and there, but that's about it. But I have, old pictures and all that things, which, thank goodness, most of the digital, or not digital, but all of the old pictures that I have like that little date on them. Oh, I am so happy that photography, got to a point when I was like 10 or 11 that you could start putting the date on it. And I've gone back and done, like when I found my birth family, I did a photo book, and so that they could see how I grew up. And so my grandmother and grandfather could see how I grew up. And so they knew that, how my life was and what I looked like and all that kind of thing. And that was really cool. I have no idea if my birth mother ever saw it or if she's ever, been shown it. I have no clue. But the fact that I know that my birth family has it makes me feel better. And my cousins and all of that, we've talked, and if my birth mother is ever ready to meet me, I'm happy with that. If not, I'm happy with that too. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. Of course, I would love to meet her, but if she never chooses to want to do that, I'm okay with that. The fact that I've gotten to meet my grandparents and especially my grandfather before he passed away, and a couple of my aunts, and I've been in touch with some of my cousins and such like that, makes me feel not as isolated as an adoptee. And so I know, at least some of my medical history, and, my grandmother is still alive, and she's, well into her 90s. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure, especially the fact that she and I look almost alike, almost identical at certain points of our lives, that, the possibility that I will live well into my 90s and past 100 is a very good possibility for me. And it's something that I would like to happen. Greg and I both want to find ways to increase our life expectancy. And just because we're both so curious as to what's going to happen. And it's very funny because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to live forever. Oh, that's awful. I don't want to be like a vampire and all. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't want to live forever. I want to live until the time I choose not to. And I want to go out on my own when I choose. Once my curiosity has been sated and, everything is good. I just want to make the life that I have, and I will be the first person to tell you that I believe that the fates have woven my history, the Narns have woven my history, eons ago, and I'm already predetermined. But I also think that what I do to help lengthen my life was meant to be. And so it's kind of a big catch-22. It's like, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And so many changes have happened in my life that have put me here, that I should not be here, that at 48, I should have died. I would have died had I not had my surgery. So that's why I spend every day of my life celebrating, because it's all a gift. And I want to make that gift last as long as possible. Part of that is, figuring out everything that is good for me. And I love the fact that so many of you have shared your personal history and your issues with health and fitness and overeating and all of that with me. And that's why I don't shy away from any of this, because it's like, this is who I am. And you can preach at me all you want, but I'm going to do what I feel is best for me. And if you choose to take that as an inspiration or a lesson learned or as something that you don't want to do, I am completely fine with that, because everything that I do here in this life is for me and to benefit, my life and my relationships and, my time with my husband and my pets and my curiosity in this world. And so I'm doing the best that I can for me. And I understand that I put my life out there, and just because I feel like I need to share where I am and the difficulties that I have and all of that. But I also want to share the good things that, I'm very healthy for everything that I've gone through. And I am very, well aware of the issues with my body and my arthritis and my liver disease and my limitations as I get older. But it's not going to limit my life. I'm going to live the best damn life that I can possibly live for the rest of the time that I'm on this damn planet. And beyond this planet, if I can, because sign me up for the mission to Mars. I want to go. So does Greg. The only downside is we can't take our pets. If we could, we'd already be like, woo, we're going. In fact, NASA's website had a mission to Mars. You could log on and put your name and have it engraved in one of the different circuit boards. And both Greg and I did that. And then you got like this passport to Mars. And I'm like, oh, for this to be real, that would be so awesome. And so, NASA, Mars planners, all of that. If for any reason you would like to have a ex-extreme athlete, chick who does planners, I'm good at organizing. I could totally do all of that. And I'd absolutely be willing to sign up. But I have gone on, I don't know how many tangents in this past few minutes. So this is my Dr. Jones and my Chic Sparrow Dr. Jones, and how I am documenting my husband's and I's medical history in the Jibun Techo life book. And if you have any questions, or if you do this for your family, let me know down below in the comments, because I would love to have any expert advice. If you've gone through all of this, it will be basically, after the 12 years that I have online, it will basically be me digging through boxes and boxes and boxes of medical records, medical bills, medical statements, all of that, going, oh yeah, this is where I went, and this is who I saw, and this is who did this. So, if you have any suggestions for that, or if you know a good app that I can put all of this in, for future reference, just to keep, other than, your basic Excel spreadsheet, I'd be happy to know about that too. So anyway, as always, spend the rest of your life celebrating, because that's exactly what all of this is. And I am counting this as my Finding 52 this week, because I've been dying to dive into this and start putting stuff in. And I know it may be tedious to people out there, but this is the kind of shit that I absolutely live for. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to put all this stuff down on paper. It's going to be so awesome. So, halfway through my life, I'm probably going to be like, oh, dear God, shoot me now, because I can't take anymore. But, I love record keeping. And this is a project that I've been wanting to do. And I am finally sitting down to get it done. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day, and honor those that have passed and those that you haven't reached out to in a while. Give them a call and let them know that you care, because I care, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time. So I will talk to you later, and have a good weekend. Bye.